How much sleep do we really need? Are you getting enough? What about your children? Joining me now with more on the new guidelines and its effects is Jamil Suleiman, MD, Adventist Health Castle sleep and pulmonary medicine physician. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes, now you're with the sleep lab or sleep center. What exactly does that mean?
The sleep lab is a sleep center. Sleep centers are throughout the islands. We have centers where we evaluate people for sleep disorders. They snore, they can't sleep well, they can't get enough sleep, they have abnormal movements. All of those kinds of things are sleep disorders, and we see in sleep centers. Mine is called the Sleep Lab, and that's one of the centers.
What are the recent recommendations or guidelines when it comes to sleep in age groups?
Well, actually, about 2010, the World Health Organization looked at ages from 5 through senility and said, you know, this is how much sleep you should have, this is how much activity you should have. But they didn't talk about infants. And so the recent guidelines are really an extension of that. So from infancy through 5 years old, they added that recommendation for activity, for sleep, and for being sedentary.
Okay, and what are those new guidelines?
Well, the new guidelines fall into 3 categories. One is activity. What they've said is that a child should be active, basically, from the time that they're infants through the first couple of years, and it varies from just activity with a newborn to 180 minutes in a 3 or 4-year-old. They should be encouraged to be active. So that's one of the guidelines.
Okay, so that's new one. And then bring us more up to date in case we're not aware of it. When you do reach 5 to an older age, how much sleep should you be getting?
So there are recommendations that start from infancy, which is 14 hours, to a child who is in their 3 or 4 years old, who should should get 11 to 14 hours. The real important thing is to understand that if you look at preschool children at 10 to 13 into your child, your preteen at 9 to 11 hours, most or many children are still sleep deprived even when we feel like they're on a reasonable system, and that's why it's really important to understand this. What it means is, and what they found in children and infants is that sleep deprivation or not getting enough sleep is associated with increased obesity and illnesses in the preteens and teenagers.
People might be wondering, aren't parents able to see when their kids or teens aren't getting enough sleep?
Right. Well, especially younger children, it's really important to understand that in children, unlike adults, if you were really tired, you'd be sleepy. Everyone could see it. But children will get hyperactive with that. And so what we have to be concerned about is people misunderstanding that hyperreactivity and considering that the problem when they can frequently have other sleep disorders like narcolepsy, sleep apnea, and things that are making them hyperactive. So we really need to make sure that physicians seeing them are aware of the fact that it may be a sleep disorder.
And then when a child becomes a teenager, something happens internally. Everything changes.
Many things happen when they become teenagers, depending on that teenager. But one of the things that happens is that our normal cycle of wake and sleep is controlled by our circadian rhythm, this internal clock that we have. And what happens in our teenage years is that the time for our sleep kind of moves a little later into the night. So it is partially their independence and what have you, but children want to go to bed later.
Right.
And they would go to bed later and they would get up later. And actually, if you let them sleep in, they would get a normal amount of sleep. The problem is with our society is that child who wants to go and does go to bed later still has to get up early to go to the school. And so many children spend their week at least sleep deprived. Now, some of them can catch up on the weekends, but basically children get sleep deprived because of their internal, clock saying they need to go to bed later, but they still have to get up to go to school.
Yeah. Very important to kind of stick to those guidelines because sleep is so important, not just because it keeps us awake and we're more alert, but just internally. It's so much better for the health.
Yeah, sleep is not just what happens when you're not awake. I mean, there are things happening when you're asleep. And those things are essential to your health, how your immune system works, you know, how your body repairs itself. These are things that are going on throughout the night. So when as we get older, we don't get enough sleep, it has its effect.
All right, yes, it surely does. We on the morning shift know that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.